So let's start with our first guest tonight is Jeff Martin. Jeff, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Tom.
Thanks for coming. Jeff is a resident of Hope Avenue in Portland and is a candidate for House District 113 representing North Deering and parts of Falmouth. Jeff is a professional real estate manager by trade. Jeff, let's start by you telling us a little bit more about your background and what motivated you to get into this race.
Sure. I grew up in Yarmouth, graduated from Yarmouth High School back in '89. I went to USM. I graduated in '94 with a degree in economics. From there, I was in sales. I was a CPA at Barry, Dunn, McNeil & Parker here in Portland. In 2000, I purchased Coastal Management and have run that business for 8 years now. We've grown into one of the larger property management companies in southern Maine, managing condominium associations all throughout the southern Maine and coastal area. I decided to get into the race based on, actually, I was inspired by my daughter to get into this race. My daughter, if you don't know, was diagnosed with major medical issues about 20 weeks into my wife's her pregnancy, and we were actually advised to abort the pregnancy at 20 weeks. My wife and I decided not to do so, and found a new doctor. And my daughter's 11 now, and she's had a tough road of it with many medical issues, but she has a life in her that is second to none. I have not met anybody in my life that compares to the amount of enthusiasm for life and commitment to community and energies that she brings out. And she has touched so many people in her life, and through that she's inspired me to help my community as well. And that's why I decided to run for office, because I want to give back to the community that has given so much to us as a family.
Good. So as a serious businessman, what are your top priorities should you get elected to the House of Representatives and start working there in January?
Sure. I think the major issue is that our state government has not brought forth the correct policies to help us grow as an economy. I strongly believe that the state government is vital in creating a livability within the state. Now we have beautiful natural resources, we have incredible people, hardworking people, and we have a great opportunity to move forward in the state. But the factor that is holding us back is the policies that we've had in our state government.
Are there any policies specifically you would like to see changed?
Sure. We have a spending crisis in Augusta. We are wasteful, or actually Augusta is wasteful with our money. Our legislators have not been good stewards with the money that we send to Augusta. We are good stewards with the money that we have in our own pockets. We conserve when we buy gas and buy groceries, and Augusta has lost that focus. They've lost the idea that they need to be responsible with the funds that we send up there. There's a lot of great ideas that come out of Augusta, but the implementation and the management of those ideas has been flawed. And we need to look at that to reduce our spending and provide a government that supports the citizens of the state better than it does.
And how about the regulatory process in your business? Do you feel burdened by the state's regulations?
Well, I see it throughout, especially with investors who are looking to make an investment and grow a business in Portland. These investors have a choice to invest their money anywhere in the country. And one of the issues that we have in this state is that it takes so long to get through the permitting process and get through the approval process to get businesses and investments going into this state that these investors are saying, well, let's not invest in the state. Let's choose to invest someplace else that's more business friendly. A perfect example of that is, whether you agree or disagree, the Plum Creek example, where it has taken 4 years just to get a yes or no on a project, doesn't present us as a very business-friendly state. The same thing goes for the Maine State Pier project, where we have spent a couple of years just to even decide who was going to get the RFP. and we are going to toil for another 3 or 4 years before we get the ball rolling and get something developed there. Those are two good examples, but we have to understand that there's probably hundreds of other examples like that are not publicized, and from there, each one of those has caused us to move backward in our progress.
Before we run out of time, I know you
Sure.
also have a strong interest in education, and would you like to say how you would like to work in that area?
Sure. We have as a service center in Portland, we have a problem with getting the proper fundings or recognizing the proper fundings from the state. We need to identify a new way to fund schools to make sure that there's a strong bond of resources or a strong support of resources at our front lines to make sure that students come first in education. In Falmouth, which is the other part I represent, I do not believe in the consolidation plan that they have going forward. I think it needs to be reevaluated. We need to look at a more collaborative effort and not necessarily a consolidation effort for Falmouth to make sure that those students are looked at first and that community is looked at first as well.
When you mentioned that you believe that students come first, does that also mean conversely that you believe that there's too much of an administrative overlay in the system?
Absolutely. Absolutely. We have one of the highest administration per student ratios in the country. And by using funds for administration and buildings and infrastructure, those funds are taken away from our students and our teachers to provide the best education we possibly can provide.
One last question. I want
Sure.
to give you an opportunity to say why the people in your district should vote for you as opposed to voting for your opponent.
Well, I think my opponent is part of the establishment. She has run the PTA. She has been a lobbyist in both in business and in the medical field. All three of those, we are still failing in education. Our healthcare costs are high, and our businesses are not surviving in this state. 3 examples of where she has failed in providing a positive outcome for the citizens. I think I have been successful in my business, and I think I can provide success in Augusta as well.
Anything else you'd like to add before we finish?
Thank you for having me on your show.
Well, thanks for being here, Jeff, and good luck in the campaign.
Okay.